Today's topic is about the narcissistic mother and her relationship with her son. And in particular, I wanted to talk about narcissistic mother and son enmeshment, which means that the narcissistic mother becomes overly dependent on her son, overly attached to her son in order to meet her own needs. And particularly, the son becomes the mother's surrogate replacement spouse. The mother, in this case, depends on the son for narcissistic supply, and this unhealthy attachment that the mother has to the son creates a huge dysfunction in the son because he isn't able to form his own identity. If the narcissistic mother's relationship with her partner, with the son's father, isn't good, if she isn't getting her needs met in that relationship, then her son will become her surrogate husband. And this is very dysfunctional. From my coaching experience, I have had a lot of sons that have enmeshed relationships with their mother. It seems to be more common in my experience. However, there are also mothers who are completely the opposite, and they ignore their sons and they ignore their children altogether and are completely neglectful. But most relationships have this enmeshment, daughter and mother or son and mother. There is basically emotional incest going on between the mother and the son. And even though it may not be sexually damaging, so there isn't any sexual incest, it is still incredibly damaging for the son to have such a close relationship with his mother. This will also distort what a healthy relationship looks like. The son will then go on to create other dysfunctional relationships with women who are narcissistic, because obviously his only example of a woman is his mother. He only knows what a narcissistic mother acts like, so he will then probably be attracted to other narcissistic women, recreating what he had in his family home. A narcissistic mother tends to suffocate her son by being too needy, by having too many demands, by expecting the son to be the man of the house, especially if there isn't a father or if the father is absent in some way or another. And she expects her son to meet all her unrealistic needs, and she is like an emotional vampire, sucking the life out of him and drains him both physically and emotionally. The problem with narcissistic parents or a narcissistic mother is that they don't see their children as independent people. They see them as pawns that they can use. They see them as extensions of their own identity, and they are vital sources of narcissistic supply. The narcissistic mother will want to control her son in every aspect, and she is overly dependent on him. And if the son tries to move away from the mother to have a life of his own, the mother will continue to control him and will find ways to keep him close to her. Now, what are the signs of enmeshment between a son and a narcissistic mother? What would an enmeshed son look like? So an enmeshed son will constantly prioritize the mother's needs and obsess over her needs and what she wants. And also he will feel that he isn't able to be his own person. He isn't able to express his own opinion on things. He feels like he can't do anything without his mother's approval. He asks his mother's opinion on everything. He allows her to take over his life, to interfere in his life. If he is in an actual relationship with somebody, the mother will interfere in his relationship as well, to the point where it will drive away his partner. The partner will then notice how enmeshed he is with his mother, how unhealthy that relationship is, and how controlling the mother is. You may even consider that a son enmeshed with a narcissistic mother is almost a bit like him being mummy's boy or that type of man, and it's probably true. An adult man is still incredibly attached to his mother, has to ask her for permission to do things, and the mother is consistently controlling her son. Then this is obviously a very, very unhealthy mother son dynamic. Now, what are some of the things that a narcissistic mother may say to her son? She may say things like, "I'm the only person who will ever love you this much." She may say things like, "You owe me for everything that I've done for you." The narcissistic mother will constantly guilt trip her son if he tries to move away from her. It is very important to mention that in this sort of relationship, the narcissistic mother develops feelings of envy, not towards her son, but towards her son's partners. She is very jealous of that relationship and she will try and derail it. She will get overly involved and she will try and control that relationship. She doesn't want any other woman to influence her son, because if that happens, then that woman will take her son away from her. And that would make the narcissistic mother feel inferior. And if her son shares with her that he is arguing with his partner, the mother will make use of that by turning her son against his partner even more and telling him, "You are way better than her, you deserve somebody better than her." And she will do everything she can to sabotage that relationship so she can have her son all to herself. The son will feel completely guilt-ridden because he is caught between his partner and his mother's control of him. And he won't be able to cope with this. He won't know what to do and how to act. And because there is a trauma bond between the son and the mother, he will feel so connected to his mother, and he will also be too scared to lose that trauma bond. Enmeshment is such a destructive thing. It is so unhealthy for the son. And in order for him to move away from that, he would have to completely cut contact with his mother and go straight into therapy to try and understand and recover from this sort of toxic relationship. Some enmeshed sons, unfortunately, never leave home. They are stuck with their mothers. And when their mother dies one day, they are absolutely distraught by this. I mean, there have even been occasions where sons have committed suicide after their mother's death because they couldn't cope with being alone. This is when it's incredibly sad. And you see how destructive this can be. So if you are a son of a narcissistic mother, I would love to hear your experience about this. If you have a partner whose mother is narcissistic and he is still controlled by his mother, then I would love to hear your perspective on this. That is the end of today's video. Thank you so much for tuning in today. I hope you found this topic useful. And if there is anything you have questions about, then please get in touch. Take care, and I will see you very, very soon. Thanks. Bye.